Hello again, and I've not done one of these videos for a while, which is a shame really, because I get more hits on these than I do on the music ones, but that's just how YouTube goes. Thank you for all the lovely feedback I get on these reviews. It's very, very gratifying. Just wish I had a chance to do more of them. So today I'm going to look at a little thing I got fairly recently. It's the Audiothingies MicroMonsta. It's a tiny little module synth that you can see there. Quite a powerful device, got all sorts of little features in it. And key to why I'm doing this particular review, or why I was interested in the device, is it supports MPE. For those of you who don't know, MPE is MIDI polyphonic expression, I think. Anyway, it's a thing that allows you to run things like the Roli Seaboard and the sorts of expressive interfaces. And I've done a few Roli videos before, they seem to be quite popular. And I'm interested in doing things with this keyboard with hardware synthesizers. I'm not a big fan of software synthesizers. It's mainly down to the interface. I don't like all the mousey, pointy, clicky stuff. I like to have buttons and things I can play with. I don't like laptops particularly. I don't like gigging with them. They feel fragile and unreliable to me. Plenty of people do good gigs with laptops. Carry on doing that. I'm absolutely happy for you. Just a personal preference. So, this little thing comes from France. They're handmade, so you have to order them and they take a little while to come, so they make them in small batches. But it's a nice little sort of small boutique synthesizer. A nice sound. Nice little thing. Small and light. It's strong plastic. It doesn't feel heavy if you're carrying lots of other gear. Knobs in it are nice and solid. Bit of give in there, but nothing heinous. Not as bad as some things I've had on this table before. These are all continuous encoders. You've got all these set of buttons on there and a volume control on the top. The encoders have buttons as well, so you can push them. So if you're holding an encoder down when you spin it round, it goes a lot quicker than it does when you just turn it, which is helpful. And also some of the options allow you to push it. It's your basic virtual analog subtractive synthesizer at heart. So if you look at the oscillator options, you've got your triangles, sine waves, saw waves, square waves, super saws, or synced. Got some interesting resonant things here, and it also has wavetables. Ooh, we like wavetables. So it's got some built-in wavetables, and you can load your own into it. So you can take samples off your computer, play around with them with a quite bizarre piece of software, which has nothing to do with the MicroMonsta. But yeah, you can download your own samples into that. I'll show you what I've done on earlier. So it's got two oscillators and a sub. It's got a filter which can be notch phase filter, 1, 2, 3, 4 pull, low pass, high pass filters, 3 envelope generators, 3 LFOs, and quite a nice mod matrix that you can play with as well. So you've got quite a good range of sources there. It's not as varied as the Blofeld in its mod matrix. You've got 6 slots there rather than the sort of 15 of the Blofeld. There's no maths in there, but it's quite good for general use. It's got most of the stuff you're likely to need on there, and it's also got shortcuts, so you can also have the LFO going straight to something rather than having to go through the mod matrix, and that does save you some slots, which is also quite good. The wavetables work pretty well. So this is a wavetable I did in Audioterm, which is quite a lot of a faff, but it does work. I think it seems more of a faff for this than it did with the Blofeld, because Audioterm has a built-in preset for saving Blofeld syshexes, where it doesn't have one for this. Now, if they ever create a preset for the Audioterm to create this, it will be a lot easier. But it doesn't, so you have to keep the manual for this open and tweak the parameters on Audioterm to get them just right before it'll save them, before this will actually load them. Once you do, you can put some evil things into it. So maybe a bit low. That's the Hank drum. Thank you for whoever it was told me what it's called. The last video I put on, which has got that strange thing I bought in Copenhagen. I just sampled that and imported it into here, so that does work. Yeah, it's a nice solid. I do vibrato almost out of habit, so I've turned it down a bit because I'm slightly out of practice on this device, it must be said, and I'm also slightly ill. So if I'm behaving oddly, I'm sorry. I'm not feeling at my best. I'm just doing this because I'm off work and I'm bored. So that's your basic saw. Oh, nice. A bit fond of triangle waves myself, and they work well. Nice powerful square there. Tune the thing. Well, the nice thing about it is this wave shape thing, which you can modulate with the LFO and do slightly different things depending on the wave you've chosen. One of the problems I have with this is that you can see the lines here because the labels don't line up with button knobs, and I find that really confusing. I know there's lines there and you should probably get used to it more over time, but I find it quite hard to work with sometimes, and you saw there I was pressing the wrong buttons, turning the wrong knobs. It's easy to do. And the wavetable one, this is one of the built-in wavetables. That's modified on the LFO, as you can hear there. So you can see the LFO mix does that, so you have to go by the mod matrix. So we slow that LFO down a bit. So I'm pushing the wrong button again here. That's the speed. Then you can combine that with another different oscillator there. There's the mixing, so bring an oscillator too. Bring the sub oscillator in. That's the noise level. quite a nice sound there already. So yeah, this is for nothing. It's really nice and easy to do. Some filter on it. Resonance on the filter. Filter tracking on the keyboard. And that's from nothing to see. So it's not quite quickly to get a really nice sound out of it. It's all a bit, you know, buttons and knobby rather than everything on one knob, but I think the first unit on this side is fine. You're mainly going to set things up for the Seaboard, I hope, and that's my intention at least, so that all the compression is done on these via the mod matrix. I've got this set to do the slide here. I've got set up to do mod wheel. So if I set this up, mod wheel. Bring the filter in there on the glide. And then for the other part of the Seaboard, you set aftertouch. So maybe the resonance. Easy as that. Other nice thing you can do with this, as you can see in here, I've got 4 preset things you can do. So I think the defaults are quite useful. The things you can change on the fly, so you don't have to go button hopping if you want to change something while you're performing. These things are changed, so that's the effect level. That one's the patch tempo, which if you've got the Arpeggiator running. And obviously useful things like the filter. So that takes some of the guesswork out. If you've got a small performance, you just get 4 of those things. What's given up on me? One of the other things I quite like about the MicroMonsta is its Arpeggiator, which is probably as good as getting out in the Blofeld. I know I keep comparing it to the Blofeld, which is slightly cruel in a way, but also there's a lot of similarities here, and it might replace the Blofeld for some purposes for me, partly for the MPE, but we'll go into a few other things that it's deficient in a minute. But the Arpeggiator is very nice. So we're doing the Arpeggiator on. So you've got all the usual sort of gates, octaves. Triplets are on the style rather than the speed, which is interesting, but it's quite nice. And you can latch it, which is also helpful. But where it gets really clever is you can play with the pattern. So I've got 7 there, and you can do a 9. And then you can change what the different steps do. Which I think you could use rather nice. So with a bit of work you could make really sort of nice custom arpeggiator patterns that are almost sequences, but of course they transpose. Not sequences transpose, but they transpose different notes. So you can do these sorts of things. So that's rather nice, very pleased with that. We're spending some time getting to know. So you can generate random things here just by holding these buttons down. Yeah, lovely. I love the Arpeggiator in this. Hours of fun for all the family. On the effects side, we've got, as I said before, you've only got the one effects slot here with certain types of effects. You've got stereoizer, ping pong delay, filtered delay, which is quite nice. I'm very fond of a filtered delay. Modulated delay, which I'm not that keen on, but that's just a personal thing. Chorus and flanger, and that's it in fact. It's pretty self-explanatory. And one thing I miss in the effects is a reverb, but it'd be nice to have a reverb in there, but there isn't, which is a shame. And there's only the one slot. There's no modulation on the effects either, which is also a slight shame. It seems to be getting more common that modulatable effects are happening, but not here, sadly. Maybe a firmware update will bring that in. A couple of minor niggles with it. One is there's no headphone socket on the back, which is, I mean, it's a small unit and there's not a lot of space in the back. But I do often like a headphone socket just for playing around late at night where I can't be bothered to plug it into anything else. But the left and right audio outputs have enough power to drive headphones if you don't have particularly thirsty headphones. If you've got low impedance headphones that are quite efficient, they will drive it. It's one ear only, but you can play with stuff. It's not bad, but it's not ideal. The menu, as I said before, they're quite fiddly and you forget where you are sometimes. It's getting used to it really, but it's still slightly annoying and you have to be sort of peering more over the top of it than perhaps I would like. Last couple of nice things on here. On the mod matrix you've also got scaling, which will allow you to change how much these things are affected, which is quite nice. On the voice menu, you can see how big the unisons are. So you've got, it's a 8 voice poly, so you can take it down. Makes a huge sound if you want to take it down. You can see how many voices are in use on here all the time, which is quite useful. A few niggles on the MPE side particularly. There's no release velocity, which is a shame because I like setting things on release velocity on here. To be fair, it's not that common. The montage doesn't do it either, and that's really expensive. So it's a shame because it's a nice effect. You don't use it a lot, but when you use it, you can have really nice effect, nice things with it. So that's a slight shame. The pitch bend you can't change. Now there's an option in here, and I was looking for it earlier. There's a pitch bend here, but that doesn't have any effect when you're in MPE mode. So the pitch bend, even regardless of what you set it on here in the patch, always goes to 4 octaves, 2 octaves up, 2 octaves either side, which is a bit much for a RISE24. It's probably great if you've got a 48, but if you notice it goes at 4 octaves, which isn't right. Turn the release down a bit. And the other problem with that is you can hear the pitch changes because 14 bits is not really enough to get pitch changes that are seamless to the ear. I've noticed this. The montage is similar. If you set it to 2 octaves up down, you can hear the granularity as it goes up and down, and you cannot hear this as well, even if I set this up fully. And if you could set that down to 12 up, 12 down, which would be great for this as well, that would work fine, because that's not a perceptible difference, to my ears at least. Maybe people have better ears than me, I'm sure people do. So that's another slight niggle. It would be nice if you could actually change the pitch bend amount in MPE mode. I think one of the other problems with it being set for a 48 keyboard is that the vibrato seems a bit oversensitive as well. And also if you're playing, it's not quite up to scratch. It gets a bit wobbly. So yeah, it would be nice to be able to tune that. I don't know why it seems to be fixed in MPE mode. Seems a little arbitrary to me, but I'm sure they have their reasons. Hello Audio Thingies, if you're watching, firmware updates for those things would be nice. But otherwise, yeah, it's a really nice unit, and it makes a good sound. It's nice and portable, light. Once you get the hang of the slightly skewed encoders, you can really get the hang of it and do some nice stuff with it. So that's the Audiothingies MicroMonsta. This has been a slightly bitty review. I'm sorry, because I'm ill. I've had camera troubles, and I'm not using my usual or my best cameras for this one for reasons that don't concern you. But I hope it's been interesting and informative. In general, my thoughts are it's a nice, useful device for use with MPE devices. There are a couple of things I would like fixed or would like to be better, but as it stands, it is quite usable. I can recommend it as a nice, cheap MPE synth. Very portable. So I hope you found that interesting and useful, and hopefully not as bitty as it's been for me recording it. I've been doing this all afternoon. I shall get around to another review soon. Well, maybe not soon. Sometime.